It is the best time of year for hockey fans. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and we have some unreal matchups for round number one. Let's dive in. Let's make our picks to see who's going to the Stanley Cup Final, or at least the second round, anyway. All right, so it is playoff bracket time. So going to just quickly here pull up what we're looking at, and yes, so the bracket here. I definitely need to change this overlay a little bit, but that's fine. We will work with that as this kind of goes along here. But all right, let's dive right in, shall we? Just a sec. I just want to see. This is being a little bit weird on me. Oh, no, that is not what I wanted to do, but it's working anyway, so we're fine. Okay, so round number one. This one, I don't think we have to put a lot of thought into this. Colorado is a better hockey team than the LA Kings are. Now, LA has shown that they can be pretty good defensively. They've obviously shown that they're good at playing in one-goal games, setting the record for most overtime games played in the NHL, but Colorado is just better. And I don't see the Kings being able to slow down Colorado enough, nor do I see the Kings being able to score enough to be able to hang with the Avalanche. And a big piece of this is Colorado getting healthy right now. And I do think having, and I guess we'll see about Kadri, but having Makar have a bit of time off there to work his way back into NHL shape, and then to see how NHL shape he was, especially a couple of those rushes against the Calgary Flames. I feel like having those guys have a bit of a break is actually going to help, because this has been a absolute grind to get to this marathon that is the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think having him get a little bit of that break is going to be helpful. So I like the Colorado Avalanche there, and I think they sweep them. I like the Avalanche in 4. Up next, probably the series of the second round, with all due respect to the folks out east, but probably the series of the second round is the Dallas Stars taking on the Minnesota Wild. There is absolutely a world where this is a Western Conference final in a different setup. I know Colorado is the cream of the crop, but these two teams, make no mistake about it, are elite, high-level hockey teams, and there isn't a whole lot that separates these two, sorry. Dallas, a little bit banged up on the blue line, with Heiskanen dealing with some things. I still like this forward group for Dallas, and this is like breaking down this matchup. I like so much of what Minnesota has going on, right? Like Kaprizov, obviously. You have a couple of electric players on that blue line, and you have a very good tandem between the pipes, but I kind of like what Dallas has going just a little bit more. I like the Dallas forward group just a little bit more than Minnesota's. I think there's just a little bit more high-level depth that Dallas can rely on compared to what Minnesota has going for it. Minnesota, not a one-line team by any stretch of the imagination, but they are closer to that than Dallas is. And the Dallas young players, they have been in these spots before, and they have been able to succeed to a certain degree anyway. I like the Dallas forward group just a bit more. I think I do like Minnesota's blue line, especially after the Quinn Hughes acquisition, just a touch more than what Dallas has going on there, but it's very close. And I would take Ottinger over the two goalies with Minnesota. So it's going to be a grind of a series, but we are going to take the Dallas Stars here, going chalk with our first two picks. Then down in the Pacific Division, it is the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Utah Mammoth. Vegas winning the Pacific Division. I am still underwhelmed by this hockey team. I still think that they have troubles with depth scoring. They are going to need their high-end guys to be able to play like high-end players. And I think they can, but Utah, they are quick. They are young. They're explosive. Vejmelka might be the best goalie in this series. If that's the case, Utah wins. Like, Vegas is going to need, whether it's Hart or whoever, they're going to need them to step up and be the best goalie here. If Vejmelka is, I think Utah wins. And so I'm going the upset with this one. I'm going to say the Utah Mammoth make their way into the Pacific Final with a series win, a close one, 7 over Vegas. And then we get down to what is going to be a really fun one with Edmonton taking on Anaheim. Obviously, a lot of this series, Oilers and Ducks, focuses on the health of Leon Draisaitl and what he is going to be able to give you. Anaheim has limped their way to the finish line. It has not been great over the last little bit. And if it were a veteran team, you could say, well, you just gotta, they're just gonna flip a switch. Everything's gonna be fine. I don't believe that to be the case with this Ducks side. They are young, and this, like we said, this has been a grind of a season, kind of wearing on them a little bit. I do think getting a little bit of extra time into Monday is going to help them, but I still like a lot of pieces on this team, though, and I think if you could just stack them up side by side, like Edmonton obviously has the two high-level guys, but Anaheim, there's a lot of talent on this forward group, and they can beat you with their blue line, but it's not a very good defensive team. Carlson there helps them out. The thing that I think can turn this is Dostal can steal a series for you. Not just games, a series for you. And I think he might. There's absolutely some haterade happening here, and Oilers fans, don't fret. Not that I think you would, but don't fret. I picked against the Oilers in every series of the playoffs last year, and it went pretty well for you guys right up until the end. So I have Anaheim making it to the second round in a 6-game series. So we have to predict the games here. I said Colorado in 4. I went Dallas in 7. I went Utah in 7. And I'm going to go Anaheim in 6. So that is the Western Conference side of the bracket. Now, let me just, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me just drag this. Oh, great, this is not going to work in the way that I want it to, is it? Okay, so you get to see a little bit on the fly putting this together. There we go. So, Eastern Conference side now, we go with the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Boston Bruins. Buffalo, phenomenal season, winning the division. Boston, I do think being slept on a little bit. You hear a lot of, Pasternak and all them. It's like Geeky scored 39 this year. Swayman could have got Vezina votes in a different season and might still anyway. He's been very, very good for them this year. I don't think they have the firepower to compete with what Buffalo is going to be able to do. I do think that they're going to be able to steal a couple games in this series, and it's going to be a very good learning experience for Buffalo, but I do have the Sabres moving on to the Eastern Conference semifinal. Tampa Bay taking on Montreal, the other marquee series of the first round, and I don't think there's a whole lot separating these two teams. The one thing that there would be is experience. Obviously, that's on the Tampa Bay side. I have loved how Tampa Bay's forward group has played. I mean, all season long. Kucherov, again, he's going to get Hart votes, but I really like lately the intensity that they have been able to ramp up with and how they've been able to play in those games. But Montreal, when they've played here late in the season, has been able to go step for step with those guys. And they have maybe the most dangerous line in the NHL when you look at Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. Dobson being hurt sucks, but they do have a lot of talent on that blue line to be able to backfill. And I think Dobish is playing some very good hockey right now. I think it's Montreal's time. I'm going the Habs, and we'll do the games here in a second, but I'm going the Habs in 7. Up next, you got Carolina taking on the Ottawa Senators. I want to do the upset pick with Ottawa so badly, but this is still a good Carolina team, and I know that they have run into some problems at various points in the playoffs, but they are very much made for this. And I do think that they can play the Ottawa style better than what Ottawa can do. The one X factor on both sides is between the pipes, right? Like the Carolina goaltending situation has been inconsistent and not one that you can rely on in the playoffs for a very long time. Ullmark has been wildly inconsistent this season. When either is on, both are very, very good. But when either is off, it's incredibly debilitating. I do think Carolina just squeaks through, but I think this is an absolute rock fight of a series. And then we get down to the no one saw this coming portion of the bracket with Pittsburgh taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia, you love what they've been able to do. The thing that I like about this team is that it's spread out, right? Like no one on their team got more than 70 points this season, but a bunch got over like 45 or 50. Like they just have had a lot of guys who are contributing, and now Porter Martone stepping in and kind of doing the same thing, just keeping up with the current of everything going on in Philadelphia. For Pittsburgh, this has been a tremendous job in team building for Kyle Dubas and how he's been able to just win a lot of small trades along the way, building that depth up, and now all of a sudden you have a pretty good hockey team going for you here. The goaltending situation, it is advantage Philadelphia. Dan Vladar has been excellent this season. I saw a video saying, like, could Vladar get Hart votes? That's too far. But fifth place Vezina, if you wanted to throw him in there, absolutely. He has been tremendous this year. Skinner, playoff experience, not all of it great, but playoff experience, I think advantage Philadelphia there. But the rest of it, I just like Pittsburgh more. I do like the Penguins, and I have them in 5. So quickly here, I got Buffalo coming out of this one in 6, Montreal in 7, Ottawa in 7, and I have Pittsburgh in 5. So those are my picks for the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's get into the rest of the bracket here just really quick. We got Buffalo taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Again, a lot of firepower on both sides of this. I think the checkmark to me that is the decider is I like Montreal. And again, like if I'm basing Montreal beating Tampa Bay on Dobish can steal it, I kind of have to do it with Buffalo as well. So I think Dobish would be able to steal this again. I think Montreal can match the Buffalo firepower. The crowds in this series would be nuts, but I'm going to go with Montreal in that spot. Carolina taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This one is just a feel one. Every bit of anything, I'm sure if I click this analysis tab, you could see like it is advantage. Well, goals per game is pretty well right down the middle, actually. But it is advantage Carolina on basically every aspect of this series. It is just a feel that I think that the tight games that Carolina thrives in, I feel like doing that against Crosby, Malkin, and all of those guys would just come back to bite them a little bit. And there's a nostalgia feel with it. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh to win that one and make their way into the conference final. Montreal taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, I just think Montreal, too much firepower, too good between the pipes. If they're going to make it to this point, I'm banking on Dobish a lot here, and Fowler potentially as well. But I'm going to go Montreal on their way to the Stanley Cup Final. So now we take a look at the western portion of the bracket to kind of finish this off here. Colorado taking on the Dallas Stars. Again, tremendous series. Absolutely incredible. I kind of like Dallas here. This is banking on Heiskanen being healthy and back to normal by this point. But again, I think great trade deadline for Colorado. Incredible high-level talent that the Avalanche have. No question about it. We're splitting hairs in this. I feel like the scoring depth for Dallas helps them out a touch. And I like Ottinger. I like Ottinger in this spot. I know that there are some questions about him in the playoffs, but, I mean, that's come in the conference finals against Edmonton, who have done that to a lot of goalies. So I'm picking Dallas. I'm picking Dallas over Colorado to get to the conference final. And again, no one saw this coming. Utah taking on the Anaheim Ducks. I think this would be Anaheim's time. Utah, a great run if they get into the second round and a lot to build on. Same for Anaheim. A little bit more experience on the Anaheim side. I trust the goaltending more, so I'm going to go with the Ducks to win that one. Conference final, Dallas taking on the Anaheim Ducks. This is where the Anaheim run comes to an end. Dallas, too good, too strong, too quick, too talented. I think that they can just kind of out-Ducks the Ducks. So I would have Dallas winning what I think would probably be a pretty quick series. And then you get to the Cup final. Dallas taking on the Montreal Canadiens. And I have the Dallas Stars as your 2026 Stanley Cup champions. So, we don't have to answer the tiebreaker question right now. That's how I have it. Dallas taking on Montreal. I'm sure there's at least 15 fan bases that would disagree with me on this one. Where are you guys? Where did I go wrong on this bracket, in your guys' opinion? Let me know, whether it's in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or hit me up on social media. I am at Primetime Klein on Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky, and we can have the conversation there. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can bring Couch Potato Diary with you wherever you go. Just search us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.